Good morning, friends. Myself, Manoj Kumar Chitale, Assistant Professor, Hirashivar Institute of Technology, Annadasoshi. In this session, we people are going to discuss about cellular telephony. This cellular telephony is a device designed to provide the communication between two moving units. We simply call them as mobile stations, or between one mobile unit and one stationary unit. Okay, and we call this stationary unit as a land unit. Here the service provider should and must able to track as well as locate the caller, as well as assign the channel to the call and transfer the channel from one base station to another base station, as the caller simply moves from one region to another region, or out of a range, we can say that. And to make this tracking possible, each cellular service area, that is divided into small regions. We call them as cells here. Each cell contains a base station. These base stations are controlled by some sort of AC power stations, or a power supply, we can say that. These if you look at this particular scenario, we have a cell. Each of these cell have a base station. These base stations are in turn connected to this mobile switching center. These mobile switching center are in turn connected to the public switched telephone network, or a PSTN, or a central telephone office, we can say that. And these landline units or LAN units are connected to this PSTN. Okay, whereas this MSC is responsible for coordinating the communication between all the base stations. We have a number of base stations, and this MSC coordinate all these base stations here, and these telephone central office. We can say that it is a computerized center that is responsible for locating, tracking these mobile stations, building, assigning some sort of channels for a communication purpose, recording, connecting these calls, recording this call or call information, so on and so forth. When it comes to the cell size is not a fixed one. Okay, that varies depending on the density of a population. Okay, if you have a high density regions, on that case the cell size is a smaller one. Most of the time the typical radius of this cell is 1 to 12 meter here. We people are very much interested to optimize this cell size, so that we can prevent the interference from the adjacent cells also. And when it comes to the transmission power, each cell is kept low, so that we can prevent it's a signal from interfering with the neighboring cells here. We people are interested in some sort of a topics like frequency reuse, transmitting, receiving, roaming, After that, we people are going to discuss the first generation cellular network, the second generation networks, third generation networks, as well as we people are going to highlight a fourth generation cellular networks also. The frequency reusing principle is nothing but these neighboring cells should not use the same set of frequencies for a communication purpose. Suppose if the neighboring cells use the same frequency, on that case interference can take place. The signal in some cases the signal can travel a longer distance, and the nodes that are residing or present over these borders, they even these devices receive that signal with the same frequency here. On that case, we people are receiving that interference. Just to avoid these interference, we people are using the concept called frequency reuse. We have a set of frequencies that are available. These set of frequencies are limited. Okay, and we people are interested to use these frequencies properly. Okay. Here, the frequency, for example, if you look at this frequency reuse is nothing but the cells, the neighboring cells should not use the same set of frequencies. Each cell uses a unique set of frequencies here. We people are allocating these frequencies by using certain pattern, and if you follow this pattern, on that case we can easily say that these frequencies are reused. The frequency reuse pattern is nothing but it is a configuration of n cells, where n is nothing but it's a reuse factor here. Each cell uses a unique set of frequencies here, and we people are repeating this pattern. That is nothing but these patterns are repeated. On that case, we can easily say that the frequency is reused. Here, if you look at these two diagrams, one is a reuse factor of a 4, another one is a reuse factor of a 7. In case of a reuse factor 4, the cells that are using the same frequencies that are separated by one single cell here. For example, we have a cell 1 here. These cells that are numbered 1 here, they use the same frequencies here, and these two cells are separated by one cell here, that is cell that is numbered 3 here. In case of a reuse factor 7, the cells that are using the same frequencies for a communication that are separated by 2 cells here, that are separated by 2 cells. The next one, we have the concept called this transmitting. Whenever we place some sort of a call, maybe we people are typing a 10-digit number, and once you press this call button, these mobile stations simply scan the band, and they expect the setup channel with a strong signal here, and that the station send that data to the closest base station. These mobile station send that information, that is a mobile number, to the base station. This base station in turn relays that information to mobile switching center. A mobile switching center in turn identifies or locates the where exactly that mobile station resides, and after that, if that the other party is available, on that case that the connection is established, and that information is relayed back to the this base station. Okay, that is nothing but this mobile switching center allocates channel for a communication, and after that these two mobile units or stations are able to communicate with each other. Suppose if one unit, this mobile station, is able to communicate with this stationary on that node, the base station relays that information to this mobile switching center, that number. This mobile switching center in turns forward or relays that information to public switching a telephone network here. That is a central office. Okay. Here this the central that is a public switched telephone network in turn establishes the call with this stationary node, and that information is relayed back to the mobile station. Once that a connection is established, the mobile station allocates the channel for this particular mobile station for a communication purpose. The next one we have a receiving. When these mobile stations are called, these telephone, suppose we people are interested to call this particular mobile station, and whenever you type the number, this public switched telephone number relays that information to this mobile switching center. This mobile switching center simply locates or tracks where that mobile station is residing, and this particular process is known as a paging. Okay, the paging is nothing but this mobile switching center locates the mobile devices. They know in which particular cell this mobile station resides, and that process is known as a paging. Once the mobile station, once this mobile switching center knows where exactly that the destination is present, in which particular cell, the mobile station, mobile switching center informs the base station, and this base station simply forwards that information to the this mobile unit. Once the mobile rings, the end user simply picks the call. We people are assigning the voice channel for a communication purpose here, and the communication takes place between these two parties here. The next one we have the handoff mechanism. In some cases, during that conversation, this mobile station moves from one cell to another cell here. One cell to another cell. Suppose if this station may not able to receive the signal from this base station, on that case we need to solve this particular problem. Here the MSC simply monitors the signal level, that is the level of this signal every few seconds. If the strength of this signal is very low, on that case this MSC simply seeks a new cell that can provide some sort of a better services for a communication to this particular mobile station here, and the MSC simply changes that channel carrying that call here. That is, this MSC simply relays that information from one base station to another base station here of this particular mobile node, and this mobile node uses this use that particular that new base station for a communication purpose. Okay, that is nothing but this handoff mechanisms. When it comes to this handoff mechanism, we people are using two approaches. One is a hard handoff, another one is a soft handoff. In a hard handoff mechanism, the station is able to communicate with one base station here, and whenever the station moves from one cell to another cell, this mobile station should and must break this base station first here. Before the communication can be established with the another one here. On that case, we people are facing some sort of a voice break, or sometime a call termination also takes place here. In case of a soft handoff, the system is able to communicate with two base stations at a time. At a time here, whenever whenever this mobile station may not able to receive the strong signals from this base station, on that case it simply switches to another base station here. Okay. On that case, you will get some sort of a seamless connectivity in this particular case. That is, a smooth voice communication takes place whenever we people are performing the soft handoff here. The next one, we have a roaming. That is another feature that is associated with this cellular telephony. That roaming is nothing but the user can have access to the communication, or can be reached where there is a coverage. That is nothing but each service provider usually have a limited coverage, and we people are using the services of a neighboring service provider, so that we can use that particular services of a neighboring cell for a communication purpose. That is nothing but the roaming mechanism. When it comes to the first generation cellular network, these first generation cellular networks are designed for voice communication. And these first generation cellular network uses analog signals here. This AMS is an analog cellular phone system using the FDMA. AMS is nothing but advanced mobile phone system. That is one of the leading analog cellular system that uses this FDMA mechanism to separate channels in a link here. When it comes to the bands, this AMS uses the ISM band, that is a 800 megahertz band. That system uses two separate analog channels. One that is a forward channel, another one is a reverse channel. Here we have a 25 megahertz band we have, that is 824 megahertz to 849 megahertz. This particular band is used for a reverse communication. Another band we have that is 869 megahertz to 894. This particular band is used for a forward communication purpose. Here we people are having a band that is a width of 25 megahertz. Here we people are each this band is divided into 30 kilohertz channel here. That is nothing but this 25 megahertz of a band is divided into 832 channels. 832 channels here. Okay, and these channel have a bandwidth of 30 kilohertz here. Suppose if you have two providers in this particular region, or they can share that particular area, on that case we can say that only half of these channels are available. That is 416 channels in each cell for each these providers. Out of these 416 channels, 21 channels are used for a control purpose, and the remaining channels are used for the communication purpose. When it comes to this amps, that amp uses the reuse factor of 7 here. That means hardly 1/7 of the remaining channels that are available for the communication purpose in the cell here. Excuse me. If you look at this transmission when it comes to the amps, that is a reverse communication band. Here this amps uses the FM modulation technique as well as a phase shift keying modulation technique here. These voice channels are modulated by using the FM, that is a frequency modulation technique. That in turn generates 30 kilohertz of analog signal here, whereas the control channel uses a FSK mechanism that produces or generates 30 kilohertz of analog signal, and we people are using this FDMA mechanism so that we can divide this 25 megahertz band into 30 kilohertz of a channel here. The next one, we have a second generation cellular network. Just to provide some sort of a high quality voice communication, these second generation cellular networks was developed here. The first cellular network, that is a first generation, that uses analog signals, whereas when it comes to the second generation, they uses digital signals. In the sense, we have a digitized voice here. Here we have three major systems when it comes to this second generation, that is the D-amps, that is a digital amps. The second one is the GSM, and the third one is IS-95. The D-amps, that is the product of the analog amps, we can say that. When it comes to this D-amps, that is a digital amp that was designed to provide some sort of a backward compatibility with the amps here. That means one station in a cell can use amps, another station can use a digital amps here. This digital amp was first defined by a IS-54, that is a interim standard 54. Later it was devised by a interim standard 136 here. When it comes to this D-amps, the D-amp uses the same band and a channel as that of the amps here, that is a advanced mobile phone system here. Here when it comes to the transmission, we have a voice channel. Each voice channel is digitized by using the PCM, that is a pulse code modulation technique, and we people are using some sort of a compression technique, so that the output here we people are receiving a 7.95 kbps of information, and these 7.9 kbps of digital voice channels are combined using this TDMA. The result what we people are getting here is that is a 48.6 kbps of a digital data here. That is nothing but these three input channels we have, that is a voice channels we have, these voice channels are in turn converted to a digital signal. These voice channels are digitized here, that produces the data rate of 7.95 kbps here, and these three digitized voice channels are combined by using this TDMA. Okay. That is nothing but we people are allocating 2 slots for these voice channels here. In turn, here the system simply sends these frames at the rate of 25 frames per second. Here this whatever the resulting this 48.6 kbps of a digital data we people are receiving. This digital data is modulates carrier by using the QPSK mechanism, that in turn generates a signal of a 30 kilohertz of a analog signal here, and at the end we people are using this FDMA mechanism so that we can divide this band of a 25 megahertz of a band into 30 kilohertz of channels here. And here this DAMP simply uses the reuse factor of a 7 here. And here if you look at this TDMA frame here, these input voice channels are allocated 2 slots here. Okay. Each slot carries hardly 324 bits here. This slot simply carries 324 bits only. Out of that 324 bits, 159 bits we people are receiving from this voice channel, that is the data bits we people are receiving from the these digital voice channels here, and 64 bits we people are using for a control information, and 101 bit we people are using for a error correction purpose. Here this system sends these 25 frames per second, whereas this slot simply consists 324 bits here. In the sense, the total number of bits per frame, that is nothing but 6 into 324 here, that is 1944 bits we people are sending per frame here, and the duration of this frame is nothing but hardly 40 milliseconds, hardly 40 milliseconds here, and this 48.6 kbps of information, that is a digital data modulates a carrier by using this a QPSK mechanism, that is a quadrature phase shift keying mechanism here, and in turn that produces a 30 kilohertz of a analog signal here, and at the end we people are using this FDMA mechanism so that we can divide this so that we can divide this link into channels here, that is the bandwidth of this channel is nothing but a 30 kilohertz here. Listen, we have a 3 input connections, that is we have a 3 mobile station, they are producing some sort of voice signals, voice channels we have. These voice channels are converted to a digital voice signal by using the PCM mechanism and a compression technique. The output here we people are getting, that is nothing but a 7.95 kbps. These in turns, these digital voice channels are combined by using this TDMA mechanism, where we people are allocating 2 slots for these voice channels, that is a digital voice channel here, and each slot simply carries 324 bits here. Out of those 324 bits, 159 bits that comes from this actual voice channel, 64 bits are used for a control information, and the remaining 101 bits are used for a error correction purpose here. And in turn, whatever the result we people are getting here, that is a 48.6 kbps of information, that is a digital data we people are having. That is this particular data modulates a carrier by using this QPSK mechanism, so that we people are producing a signal of a 30 kilohertz of a analog signal here, and we people are transmitting that information over this channels, over these channels. Okay, these channels we people are getting because of this FDMA mechanism, that is a frequency division multiple access. Here the DAMS or IS-136 is a digital cellular phone system using the TDMA and FDMA mechanism. The next one we have a GSM, that is a global system for a mobile communication, that is a European standard that is developed to provide the common second generation technology over the Europe here. The main aim of this particular standard was to replace a number of incompatible first generation technologies. When it comes to the band, the GSM uses 2 bands for a duplex communication, and here that is a band we people are using. One is 890 megahertz to 915 megahertz, another one is 935 megahertz to 960 megahertz. Okay, that is 25 megahertz of a band we people are having here, and this band is divided into a 124 channel of 200 kilohertz of each here. That is the capacity of this channel is nothing but 200 kilohertz, that is a bandwidth. We have a reverse band, that has a 124 channel. The forward band has a 124 channel here. When it comes to the transmission that is associated with this GSM, here we have a voice channel. These voice channel are digitized as well as compressed to a 13 kbps of a digital signal here, and these here 13 kbps of a digital signal, they simply occupies one slot here. Okay, these 8 digitized voice channels are combined by using this TDMA, one slot for each digital voice channel here. Okay, here this each slot carries hardly 156.25 bits here, and 8 slots share a frame here, that is a TDMA frame here. Here these 26 frames are combined using this TDMA approach, that is they simply share this multi-frame, that is a multi-frame here, that in turn produces the digital data of 270.8 kbps here. Here these digital, that is these each 270.8 kbps of a digital channel are a channel modulates carrier by using this GMSK. That is another form of the FSK, that is a frequency shift keying mechanism, that in turn produces 200 kilohertz of analog signal here. Here we people are using this FDMA mechanism so that we can divide this 25 megahertz of a channel into 200 kilohertz of channels here. That is nothing but we people are combining these 124 analog channels of 200 kilohertz by using this FDMA mechanism. What we people are doing here, this FDMA mechanism that divides this bandwidth into channels here, that is 200 kilohertz. That is nothing but we people are combining these 124 different channels here. That is 124 different channel of 200 kilohertz here. Here maybe we people are looking at this the channel data rate here. Here the this each frame, listen, this each slot hardly carries 156.25 bits here, and we have 8 slots here, and these these 26 frames are these 126 frames are combined by using this TDMA mechanism. That is nothing but these 26 frames share this one multi-frame, and the duration of this multi-frame is nothing but 120 milliseconds here. That is, if you compute this particular value on that case, that is nothing but 156.25 into 8 into 26, we have 26 frames here, divided by 120 millisecond. 120 millisecond. That is the duration of these frames over this multi-frame here. Okay. On that case, we people are getting around 270.8 kbps of digital data. That is the output of this particular process here. And if you look at this particular process, maybe we people are simply inserting large amount of overhead in TDMA here. That is, hardly we people are sending 65 bits, that is that comes from a user data, and this the system simply adds some redundant bits, extra bits for error correction purpose, that makes it to a 114 bits, and after that we people are adding some TDMA control bits to it, that in turn makes it to a 156.25 bits here. Okay. In turn, that is nothing but each slot carries hardly 156.25 bits here. Okay. And we have 8 slots. This one particular this one frame has 8 slots, and we people are combining these 26 frames in one multi-frame here. One multi-frame here, and the duration of this one multi-frame is nothing but 120 milliseconds. 120 milliseconds here. We can say that we people are simply inserting some sort of a large amount of overhead in case of this TDMA. This GSM is a digital cellular phone system that uses a TDMA and a FDMA mechanism. And here this GSM uses the reuse factor as low as 3 here. The next one, hello. The next one we have a IS 95. This particular technology is one of the dominant generation. That is a second generation standard in North America. That is a interim standard 95, and it uses the techniques the CDMA and DSSS. Here, if you look at this IS 95, we people are using this IS 95 uses 2 bands for a duplex communication, and these bands that is one is the traditional ISM band we have, that is a 800 megahertz band. Another one is a ISM 1900 megahertz band. Each band is divided into 20 channels of 1.228 megahertz, and these channels are separated by some guard bands here. Each service provider, the service provider is allocated 10 channels here, as well as this IS 95, that is the interim standard 95, can be used in a parallel with the amps here. That this whatever the channel we people are getting here, that is 1.23 megahertz of a channel we people are getting, that is a 41 times than the amps here, that is 41 into 30 kilohertz of a bandwidth here, that is nothing but a 1.23 megahertz we people are getting. Here we people are we need some sort of a synchronization here when it comes to this CDM IS 95 standard. Here all the base channel need to be synchronized to use this CDMA technique. To provide a synchronization, the bases use the services of a GPS here. Here when it comes to IS 95, we people are using 2 different the transmission technique. That is the first one, that is the first one uses the forward direction, that is base to mobile. Another one for a reverse direction, that is from mobile to base here. In the forward direction, the communication between base and all the mobiles are synchronized. The base sends the synchronized data to all the mobile nodes here. Here in case of when it comes to this IS 95, we people are using 2 different transmission technique, that is forward transmission and the reverse transmission. The forward transmission, that is from a base station, the base to mobile stations. The reverse transmission, a mobile node to base here. Here the communication between the base and all the mobiles are synchronized. The base sends these synchronized data to all the mobiles here. Here if you look at this particular picture, here we have a voice a channel that is digitized, that produces a 9.6 kbps of a basic data rate. That is a digital voice channel we people are having. After adding error correction, repeating as well as interleaving bits, the resultant signal is nothing but a 19.2 KSPS, that is a kilo signal per second here. This particular output is scrambled by using this scrambled signal of a scrambled signal, that is a 19.2 KSPS, and in turn we people are getting the 19.2 KSPS of a scrambled output here. Here we combine this listen, the output of this scrambler. Okay, these are signals, that is scrambled signals are combined using this CDMA approach here. Okay, these are combined by using this CDMA approach. For each this traffic channel, we people are using one wash, that is a 64 into 64 row chip is selected. For each traffic channel, we people are using wash codes here. That is nothing but you people are assigning these codes for these traffic channels here. And the result what we people are getting because of this combining, that is a 1.228 mega chips per second here. That is nothing but a 19.2 KSPS into 64 CPS, that is a chips per second we people are having with this CDMA technique here. In turn, whatever the result we people are getting, that information is fed through this QPSK. That is this signal fed through this QPSK modulator, so that it produces a signal of a 1.228 megahertz here. The resulting bandwidth can be shifted appropriately by using this FDMA mechanism. Here, whatever the analog channel we people are getting, that creates a 64 digital channels, out of which 55 channels are used for traffic, and the remaining used for a control and a synchronization purpose. Here, if you look at this particular process, we have a voice channel that is digitized here. We people are getting a 9.6 kbps of a digitized voice channel. After adding error correction, repeating interleaving bits, we people are generating a signal of a 19.2 KSPS, that is a kilo signal per second. This particular signal is scrambled by using this scrambled signal, and here we people are getting this scrambled signal here. Here I need to scramble this signal by using this scrambling signal here. The output here is nothing but a scrambled signal with a 19.2 KSPS, that is nothing but a kilo signal per second. And here we people are assigning this one code that is selected from the 64 into 64 matrix, that is a wash table. That code is assigned for this scrambled signal here. Okay, and the resultant, once you combine all these input voice channels, we people are getting a 1.228 mega chips per second here. That information is fed through this QPSK modulator, so that it produces a signal of a 1.228 megahertz here. Here the analog channel creates a 64 digital channels here. Out of 55, out of which 55 channels are used for a traffic purpose, and the remaining used for a control and a synchronization purpose. If you look at this channel 0, the channel 0 is acts like a pilot channel. This channel simply sends a continuous streams of ones to the mobile station. This particular stream is used for the bit synchronization, and that can be served as the phase references for a demodulation, and allows the mobile station to compare the signal strength of a neighboring bases for a handoff decisions. The channel 32 that gives the information about the system to the mobile station. The channels 1 to 7 that are used for a paging purpose to send messages to one or a more mobile station, and the channels that are ranging from 8 to 31 and 33 to 63. These are used for a traffic purpose, that is a traffic channel that carries a digitized voice from the base station to the corresponding mobile station. Here if you look at this scrambling process, we people are getting the signal, that is a digital signal of 19.2 ksp's. This signal is scrambled here with a scrambling signal. This scrambling signal is produced by this long code generator. This scrambling signal is produced by this long code generator. This long code generator uses this electronic serial number of the mobile station and generates around 2 to the power of 42 pseudo random chips here. These pseudo random chip, each chip is of a 42 bit here. Listen, these are pseudo random chips we people are generating here, and this output of this long code generator, that is 1.228 mega chips per second. That information is fed through this decimator. Here the decimator simply chooses a 1 bit out of those 64 bits here, and the output of this decimator is used for this scrambling purpose. Here if you look at this particular process, we have a voice channel. That information is converted to a digitized voice channel of a 9.6 kbps, 9.6 kbps. After adding error correction, repeating, interleaving bits, we people are the output what we people are getting here is, that is a 19.2 ksp's of that is a kilo signals per second here, and this particular signal is scrambled with this scrambling signal, so that we will get the scrambled signal as a output here. Here we people are having 64 channels here. Okay, 64 channels. Okay, for example, digital channel 0, this acts as a pivot channel that is used for a bit synchronization purpose. That allows a mobile station to compare the strength of the neighboring base station for a handoff decisions also. The channels from the channel that is a 32 that used for a that gives some sort of a information about the system to the mobile station. The channel 1 to 7, that is a channel 1 to 7 that are used for a paging purpose. The channels that are 32 to 8 to 33 and 33 onwards up to 63. These are used to carry the information, that is a traffic here. Okay, once you combine all this information, that is a scrambled signal here, we people are getting a 1.228 mega chips per second signal. That information is fed through this particular QPSK mechanism. In turn, that produces a signal. In turn, that produces a signal of a 1.228 megahertz here. The next one, we have a reverse transmission. We people are using the CSMA CD mechanism in a forward direction. It is because it is possible because we people are using these pilot channels that sends a stream of once here for a synchronization purpose. Okay, we people are not using this synchronization in a reverse direction because we need an entity to do that thing which is not feasible. For that purpose, we people are using this direct sequence spread spectrum in case of a reverse transmission here. If you look at this particular diagram, we have a voice channel that a voice channel is converted to a digital one that pass through this digitizer. We people are getting a 9.6 kbps of a digital voice channel. If you pass this information, that is after adding the error correcting bits, repetition bits, interleaving bits, the resultant signal we people are getting here is 28.8 kilo signal per second. Now this this is passed through 6 to 64 symbol modulator. Here this modulator that divides this information or symbols into 6 symbol chunks, and these 6 symbol chunks are interpreted as a binary number in the range of 0 to 63. That is nothing but if you divide this 28.8 by 6, we people are getting the number here. Okay, into 64 we people are performing, so that we people are getting this particular value, that is a 307.2 kilo chips per second here. When it comes to this one, that is 6 to 64 symbol modulation, we people are passing this information through this modulator, where this modulator simply divides them into 6 symbol chunks, and we people are interpreting these 6 symbol chunks as a binary number in the range of 0 to 63 here, and that binary number is used to used as a index to 64 into 64 Walsh matrix, so that we can select a row of a chip here. Here this each 6 symbol chunk is replaced by those by the 64 chip code here. Okay, and this simply differentiates the stream of chips from the different mobile stations here, and the result what we people are getting, that is a 307.2 kilo chips per second here. That is nothing but a 28.8 divided by 6 into 64. The next process we have, that is a spreading process. Here the each chip is spread into 4 here. Here we people are using that ESN, that is a electronic serial number of a mobile station, that creates a long code of a 42 bit here, and we people are producing this 42 bit long 42 bit of information, that is a long code of a 42 bit at the rate of a 1.228 mega chips per second. That is nearly 4 times than the 307.2 kcps here. After spreading this information, this each signal is modulated by using this QPSK mechanism. Here that is a completely different from the forward direction here. Okay, we people are not at all using the multiple access mechanism here. Whatever the reverse channel, the reverse channels send their analog signal into the air. The correct chips will be received by the base station due to this spreading mechanism here. Here we people are able to create around 2 to the power of 42 minus 1 digital channels in the reverse direction. Normally we people are using 94 channels, 62 channels that are used for a traffic channel, and the remaining 32 channels that are used to gain access to the base station here. We people are passing this spreaded what we say these signals are passed through this QPSK here. That is we people are modulating here by using this QPSK, that is a quadrature phase shift keying mechanism we people are using. After that we people are getting a signal of 1.228 megahertz here. Here if you look at the IS-95, it's a digital cellular phone system using that CSMA and DSSS and FDMA mechanism here. When it comes to the data rate, this IS-95 simply provides 2 sets of data rates here with 4 different rates in each set here. In the first set that defines 9600, 4800, 2400 and 1200 bits per second. Suppose if the selected bit rate is at 1200 bits per second, each bit is repeated 8 times to provide a rate of 9600 bits per second. The second set defines the data rate of 14400, 7200, 3600 and 1800 bits per second here. And this is possible by reducing the number of bits that are used for the error correction here. The bitrate in a set that are related to activity of the channel. If the channel is silent, only 1200 bits can be transferred. That improves the spreading by repeating each bit 8 times here. When it comes to the reuse factor, this IS-95 system use the reuse factor of 1 here, because we people are using that CSMA, the CDMA mechanism. The interference from the neighboring spell cannot affect this the CDMA as well as this DSSS transmission here. When it comes to the handoff mechanism, every base station continuously broadcast these signal using this the pilot channels. In the sense, every mobile station can detect this pilot signal from its cell and neighboring cell, and that enables the mobile station to do the soft handoff in contrast to the hard handoff here. In the next session, we people are going to discuss the third generation cellular networks or cellular telephony. Thank you.